Welcome to D&H TV. I'm Chris Phillips. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have Mitch Flickinger here with us. Mitch, how's it going?
Going well. Thanks, Chris.
Guys, we're here to talk about white box servers and kind of the advantages of looking at white box servers. Mitch is going to be on board to tell us a little bit about that. Mitch is our senior technical specialist. He focuses solely on white box servers. So we're going to get some great information from him here today. If you have any questions during this broadcast or after the broadcast, you want to reach out to either one of us, you can email us at presales@dnh.com. We're happy to take any questions. If you have any server requests coming out to us, that's where you'd want to send them as well. But to start, Mitch, I want to talk a little bit about your experience with white box servers and how long you've been producing bill of materials and kind of helping our customers build those out for their resellers over the last couple of years here at D&H.
Sure, no problem at all. I moved into the role of building white box servers about 5 years ago. Now, that seems like a short period of time, but we have seen a wide range of systems. I've configured anything from a basic single socket pedestal server all the way up to a 2U, 4-node rack system housing up to 8 processors, sometimes even terabytes of memory. So there's a huge landscape of what type of system you could build through any sort of white box program or customer or configurator. Configured a lot of systems based on Windows Server and Data Center, SQL, VMware, vSAN, all sorts of Linux distributions, Red Hat, CentOS. We've pretty much seen it all.
Yeah, and to kind of give you a little bit of background, I started the Solutions Lab working with people like Larry Henry and Trevor Schubert, who are still here at D&H, and our basis of our knowledge was around white box server, and we built all of our technical knowledge around that stuff. So it's a great place to start kind of building knowledge as you kind of move forward in your career. But to kind of give people a little bit of understanding of what we're talking about, Mitch, you want to tell people what a white box server is and how it kind of differentiates from other servers on the market?
Yeah, absolutely. And that can actually be a confusing topic these days because, like I said, the landscape has changed for what's available through Whitebox and what companies are offering these solutions. So to sum it up, basically a Whitebox server is an unbranded server that uses a lot of the same, if not better, components than any big name high volume manufacturer, such as Dell, HP, Lenovo. They're highly customizable. They can be fully configured at a much lower cost than branded solutions, and you just have a vast, vast array of options to use in these systems.
The main advantage then for white box servers are their ability to be customized.
Exactly. Yep. You want to think customizable and low cost. Those are your two biggest standouts of why a white box server would be a better option for you than branded.
So why is the white box solutions more cost effective than a branding server? Because correct me if I'm wrong, the technology that goes into a white box server is identical to what goes into a branded server. Why is there such a large cost disparity?
Yeah, so in a lot of cases, that's exactly correct. The customer now has access to these parts. So the branded companies are accessing these parts from the same ODMs. You're just not paying that branded markup. You're getting it directly. So there's a huge cost difference in doing that. Granted some, extended warranty contract and maintenance contracts can be a little bit different, but at the end of the day, the hardware is exactly the same. It's just as reliable. It's coming from the same manufacturer. It just doesn't have that brand on it.
So we're talking about the same hardware, same manufacturers that are making that hardware. We're just talking about where you're sourcing that parts from, being able to source them directly yourselves rather than being told which parts you're going to be using.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that affect the upgrade cycle of these servers?
It doesn't affect the upgrade cycle too much. As far as upgrading your servers on a 3 or 5 year plan, there's really not much difference. It's more about reducing the IT budget in the meantime, but there are advantages to reducing your total cost of ownership over time, and we can get into that a little bit for sure.
Yeah, is there and that's something I do want to kind of talk about a little bit
Mhm.
is it easier to do incremental upgrades throughout that 3 to 5 year life cycle? Like, are you able to more easily upgrade memory or drives because you have the ability to source those yourselves rather than relying on a branded option that may or may not have stock or even outright discontinue that part?
Yeah, absolutely, because you have access to really any manufacturer. Now, some white box companies will have lists of validated parts that they either tested themselves or the manufacturer of that specific part tested themselves. But at the end of the day, you have access to just about anything that'll work in that system. A lot of the form factors, technology behind a lot of these components is the same, and it's starting to get sort of universal. Where you can use just about anything in any system now, especially when it's a white box system and there's not going to be any sort of proprietary BIOS configuration or anything like that that's gonna trip you up in the process.
Then what is like how does warranties work for those systems then? Because if you're sourcing those parts from a variety of different sources, how does a warranty work if let's say a drive goes down in your system and it's a different brand from the motherboard of the server or the processor of the server? Like, what's the warranty process look like for that? Because that could be a big hurdle for people that are looking to buy white box.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the warranty, if you're integrating these parts yourself, you're going to be reliant on that specific manufacturer's warranty. So if you have 5, 6 different manufacturers in your system and you integrated all of that yourself, you are going to rely on each individual manufacturer for warranty support in the event that anything goes wrong.
Okay, so it's important for you to kind of keep track of where those parts are coming from and the warranties for that because the warranty lengths may be different. You might have a 5 year warranty on your drive and a 3 year warranty on your memory, but you're still covered if those parts were to go down in your server.
Absolutely 100%. Yep. Yeah, the actual physical
So,
replacement warranty
well,
of those parts is going to be very similar to what you're going to see through a branded solution.
so if you can shed some light on any, has there been any throughout your course of the last 5 years, has there been any kind of misconceptions that you've heard about white box servers compared to other servers on the market that you would want to kind of shed some light on or kind of shed some knowledge on based on your experience building them out?
Sure, not misconceptions per se. I think there's some misunderstanding and maybe some gray area on what white box servers really are and what they're designed for. But modern white box servers, I mean, these are designed and built from the ground up to meet a customer's specific needs and workload, and they really have an advantage when it comes to software. I mean, white box servers can run just about any operating system, any virtualization platform, VMware, Hyper-V, Red Hat. Some white box servers even support OpenBMC, so you can configure your own BMC firmware if you need to. Just an example, I built our 4 node lab data center on an open source virtualization platform called Proxmox. And thanks to this type of open source management software, the total cost of ownership is much lower than branded servers. Being brand agnostic just allows so much more flexibility. It allows in-house technicians to swap out failed parts when there's a major problem. There's a lot of advantages that aren't really seen or marketed to the mainstream server audience.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well, especially dealing with a lot of D&H's partners and white box server components, whether it be on the processor side or the memory or the disk drive side. There's just a lot of freedom when it comes to building out servers for customers, and not only building out servers for customers, doing those incremental upgrades throughout the process. Because
Mhm.
I can count on my hand, well, I would need multiple hands to count the number of times I've had customers come back to us going, "Hey, remember that server we bought from you 2 years ago? I need twice the capacity of storage now. Can you quote me some new drives?" And it's a simple process, whereas in branded it might be a little bit more difficult. Mitch, thank you so much for your time. Is there how can people get a hold of you directly if they want to contact you or have any questions?
I mean, the best place to start is through our pre-sales group.
Mhm.
But feel free to email me directly, mflickinger@dndh.com, and we can post that. So
Yep.
feel free to reach out with any
Is
questions,
is it
configurations.
Yep, his email should be in the resources attached to this webcast. Since it is the holiday season, I've been asking everyone that's been on this month a holiday-related question. Since we're kind of in the middle of it right now, I'm going to change my question. Go, what's your favorite holiday song?
Jingle bells.
Jingle bells. That's see. I thought you'd do like "Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer" because
No, I
that.
have to go. I have to go with what my youngest sings on a regular basis.
Oh my! Well,
over
you
and
can
over
hear
again.
my daughter's
Adorable.
completely jazzed right now, and you could probably hear her behind me as we talk. I'm sure all of you are sitting around at home around the holidays are used to having a full house, and that's what we got going here too. But we're happy to come and join you today to give you a little bit more information on Whitebox servers. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you later about this stuff. See you, Mitch. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.